I'm not sure. And I'm on? Brilliant. So I'm going to attempt to do 10 minutes and fewer slides. I'm also going to do a solid to my co-presenters and see how far you can go this way and have it still work. So as promised, I'm Chris Wiggins from Columbia University. I thank Matt for inviting me to do this. I was originally going to give a talk on the history of data science from 1962 to 2062. And then it was going to be really fun, and I'm still happy to give that talk later at a bar if somebody's interested. But I showed these slides to Kathy, and she said, Chris, that's too many damn slides. So as per Kathy's suggestion, I'm not going to talk about that. Instead, I thought like 10 minutes, I'm used to giving hour-long talks. So 10-minute talk is sort of like a big tweet. So I thought I would just take a tweet and try to take one of these tweets and just embiggen it for 10 minutes. So here's a tweet. So there was this tweet recently from the New York Times saying universities offer courses in a hot new field, data science, big data, big money, big skill set, now required, and universities are on it. And I thought that was great. So I thought I would talk about how Columbia is on it. In particular, I thought I would talk to you briefly about the new Institute for Data Sciences and Engineering. I hope you've all heard about it. Data Science Institute had its opening symposium on April 5th, just a few weeks ago. I encourage you to check out this nice write-up in the New York Times, IDSI Fest, for reading about what all went on there. I'll tell you about how the Institute for Data Science is organized. It's organized into several research foci. And those research foci build on strong verticals in New York City that have a data science component. They include cybersecurity, financial analytics, foundations of data science, which is sort of like fundamental machine learning work, health analytics, new media, smart cities. Many of you who are in startups would probably have the most affinity with new media. The chair of the New Media Center is Mark Hansen, who's somebody who's been writing about data science for a long time. He's now in journalism, although he has a PhD in statistics. Talk about that later at a bar also. But I encourage you to go check out idsi.columbia.edu to find out more. The other thing I encourage you to do is to talk to the students of Columbia University. So they self-organized without any of my doing. About 2 weeks ago, they formed, or no, 2 months ago, they formed this new society, the Columbia Society for Columbia University Data Science Society. And I also encourage you to email them at cdss@columbia.edu. That email address went live about 2 weeks ago. And so far, there have been like 5 job offers at hedge funds that have been sent to this email address. So I need this is a case where I really do need your help keeping kids off the street. Like, and by kids, I mean students who know how to code and look at data, and by the street, I mean Wall Street. So please tell all of your talent people this email address, cdss@columbia.edu, and start sending your data science jobs to that email address. Toot sweet, if not sooner. Also, I encourage you to check out this nice video about our new educational initiative. So the Data Science Institute at Columbia has a new educational initiative, a professional certification. So the certification will be the first part of a rollout of several larger degree granting programs. The certification, and you can read about it at bit.ly/IDSICert. But some of the URLs are here, and if you could click on it, you would see a little YouTube video with a bunch of us, including me, talking about the certification program. Applications are live now. I encourage you all to apply. And if you're not a student or thinking about becoming a student, I encourage you to hire people who are students. Now, what goes on in this data science certification? I had the pleasure on working on this curriculum with several people, including Kathy's colleague, Rachel Schutt, who's also Kathy's co-author on the upcoming data science book. The curriculum is sort of based around 4 pillars that I think will be the pillars of a data science education. You need some mathematical ability. So part of the curriculum is to apply the mathematics. You need to be able to implement. That is, we're not doing theorem and proof about data. We actually have to look at data, and that means you will need how to code. You need to understand a bit about machine learning and what it means to learn from data that you've been handed by the world. And crucially, the thing that makes you a valuable data science is something Kathy touched on, which is you need to be at the table and you need to be able to interpret your results. So I think part of a good solid data science education is recognizing that part of the value you add as somebody who knows how to look at data is knowing how to communicate what you learned by looking at those data. And so the actual classes that invoke these 4 pillars of data science education will be a new class combining probability and statistics, a new class specifically on algorithms for data science, a new class on machine learning for data science, and a new class that we made up, which I like to call EDAV, for Exploratory Data Analysis and Visualization. Exploratory data analysis is not a newfangled thing, like we're talking about, oh, well, you need to interpret data and whatnot. it's a very old idea. Like, right? So, I mean, exploratory data analysis is like a core idea in applied statistics, goes back at least to Tukey's book in 1977 called Exploratory Data Analysis, if not his article from 1962, saying, I encourage you to go read Tukey's article from 1962, like basically saying to his fellow mathematical statisticians, maybe we've gotten a little too mathematical, and maybe we should think about data. And he sort of put forward a field he called data analysis, which, if you read the description of it, sounds a lot like things that people call data science today, except less Hadoop. But you know, the sort of like the things that you now value in data science, and looking at real data and trying to make sense of it, and then building your models, and then explaining those results to other people, Tukey was on it. In fact, Tukey has been sometimes called the progenitor of data science by our own Max Strong. Here's a picture of Tukey telling you what time it is. So the other thing that's happening at Columbia, I would say, is that we are on it. And this is something for which I don't have a URL, but I will tell you that something that I've had the pleasure of participating in at Columbia in the last year is really meaningful conversations with people from the natural sciences, from computer science, from statistics, from journalism, talking about what data science is, and its sort of historical antecedents, and you know, in statistics as a field, and in computer science, and in all the fields from which statistics had its birth 100 years ago, and trying to understand what data science means to us within the academy, to everyone in the real world, and to the students that we are allegedly trying to train, and to the city that New York City is trying to engage with. So I don't have a pithy URL for this yet, except to say that part of what I think is going on at Columbia right now is some very good discussions about what data science is, should be, can be, will be, and what we are trying to create. And I look forward to working with all of you on that as well. So if you'd like to know more, I encourage you to email idc@columbia.edu, or you can check out our website or our Twitter feed. I also encourage you to email those students your jobs so that you can save them from a life of pricing exotic buckets of mortgages. And if you'd like to know, I'm also happy to talk more about that. I'm available at a very logical email address and a logical website and a reasonably logical Twitter feed. And I look forward to talking to you all later. That's it. Thank you very much.